Turning to a wrap of your top stories of the day, a Newton police officer charged with murder is back home this morning after being released on bond. Officer Carlos Uribe made his first court appearance yesterday. Police say Uribe killed 21-year-old Camden Childers on June 26th. A district attorney later found Uribe's actions were not justified.
CMS freezing spending as it waits on more than $12 billion in federal aid. They're starting with things like contracts and vacant jobs, but if the money doesn't come through soon, families could soon start to see some of the larger impacts.
Former North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper is fueling speculation that he could run for U.S. Senate. The Democrat is stepping up his political fundraising. He is expected to announce a decision before the end of the month.
All right, this just coming in. An injury crash is on I-485, the inner loop. As you're approaching I-77, it's backing things up. It's at exit 67. We'll have more coming up on WCNC Plus as we continue to follow this.
Well, enjoy the pick of the week, y'all, because after this, we have a big escalation in temperatures. We're close to 100 degrees, and don't be surprised that you might see some of these get a little bit higher, close to 100 degrees when all is said and done. Weather alert Saturday and Sunday, but these honestly could be extended easily through next week.
All right, Chris, thanks. And a reminder, the news does not end here. Coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus, we are talking live with WCNC Charlotte Sports Director Nick Carboni as the Panthers training camp gets underway. Plus, at 8 a.m., Charlotte Mayor Pro Tem Dante Anderson joins us live to talk about recent crime here in Charlotte. And then Larry joins us on the desk to talk more about Ozzy Osbourne and the movie they made together.
That starts in just a few minutes at 7 o'clock on WCNC Plus, so we hope that you will join us there.
Streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. A live look outside where we are finally getting a bit of a break from the nearly 100-degree temperatures. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy has our hump day forecast.
And it's going to be a good one, may I even say a great one. And I've been pumping this up all morning long. This is our pick of the week, so enjoy it because temperatures will be in the lower 90s. Plenty of sunshine heading our way. And then also we're having a nice little break from that mugginess. So some of your headlines as we're going to eat these popsicles today is feeling much better. It's a nice mix of cloud and sunshine. You're still looking at the lower 90s. It's going to be hot. I'm not saying that, all of a sudden fall is here. And storm chance is also taking a break for today. They'll be back by tomorrow, but really nothing widespread over the next few days. Humid air is also increasing heading into the weekend, then we're turning up the heat. Get ready for a lot more heat advisories where we are aiming our sights at the hottest weekend of the year so far. 88, that's going to be our high run around Hickory. 92 for you in Charlotte, and then 93 down here in Lancaster. Here's the best thing. Check out these real feels. 91 feels like 92. 90 feels like 91 from 4 to 6. So yeah, not really a big difference just because that moisture content is really going to take a big duck dive. That's still around the sticky range overall heading into the afternoon, but it feels much better. Again, still, if you're in direct sunshine, you're feeling like it's over 100 because it usually adds about 10 degrees to your real feel, the way you're feeling. And then that uncomfortable air is back in action for tomorrow afternoon, and then more of that muggy air, that air you can wear by the weekend. Check out our heat index values as they peak through the weekend. Right around that danger threshold on Friday, 102, but Saturday and Sunday, a chance of feeling like 106 degrees. Already this product from the National Weather Service is showing a major heat impact for your Saturday, but once you get closer to your Sunday, heading into Monday, look at this. Usually don't see the purple popping up, and that's why I think some areas here in North Carolina could be under an extreme heat warning. When it's a chance of up to 105, you have a heat advisory. When it has a chance of up to 110, then you're talking about that extreme heat warning. So we're going to be very close to that because we might have to change up our highs. Because right now I have 99 on Saturday, 98 on Sunday, each day feeling like 105 plus. And we're also going to have a chance for a developing storm. But that's the major story heading into the weekend. And don't be surprised that over the next couple of days that we might be moving these up into the triple digits all in all. So our 7-day forecast before we get into any of our rain chances is really going to be a testimony of if we hit that 100-degree point, because it's kind of like a machine. Once you turn it on, it's really tough to turn it off unless you get a front to roll through or a lot more cloud cover. But we're in a setup that I think we're going to be at least 98 degrees plus for multiple days. Right now I did bring 97 down for Tuesday because there are some indications of some cloud cover, but these might be trending up. I think I'm honestly being a little bit more conservative compared to what we could potentially see. So this could be quite the run that we have on the way. So that's really going to be doubling down about my reinforcement about really enjoying today. Our sunrise officially was at 6:26 for your July 23rd, and our high temperatures officially hit 90 degrees yesterday. So this is also a historic stretch that we're on. This is kind of crazy. We hit 17 days in a row earlier. We took a day off, hit 86, and then since then we've had 16 straight days of 90 plus degrees here in Charlotte. So this is the longest stretch that we've had since 2015, which by the way is one of the more historic seasons. That's also the last time we had multiple days that popped up to 100 plus. But over the next 10 days, I already showed you the 7-day, 99, 98, 98. For the rest of July, we have a good chance of it being in this range all in all. So the longest 90-degree stretch that we've ever had in history was the hottest July on record. 1993 had 33 straight days of 90 or more and multiple days of 100 plus, officially 5 times in the month of July. So if that forecast comes to fruition today and tomorrow, the days that are closest to that 90 points. So as long as we hit today and tomorrow, we're talking about over 25 days at 90 plus. That would bring us up to the 4th longest streak in Charlotte history. So quite the historic stretch that we're on, and it looks like we're going to be finishing July as the 3rd hottest July in Charlotte history, and that dates back to 1879. Let's head over to Majestic, see what's going on for your morning commute.
Good morning, everyone. Well, we're going to start with this live look right now. Our WCNC crews are here on scene. There's been a water break right here. You can see those crews are out there trying to just fix it. They've been out all night, early this morning. Right now, we know that 2 lanes are currently blocked so that they can actually fix fix it. I'm going to show you on my map where this is exactly at, and while it's not impacting everyone's morning's commute, it may impact some of you. I'm actually starting to see more orange pop up here, meaning that your morning commute will be slowed down because of this as they continue to fix this water main break. It's on Sharon Amity Road at Central Ave, and it's right near Compare Foods Market if you're used to that area. So you can see that back up. This orange right here just meaning that traffic is moving slowly. If you want to get around it, I just suggest taking Central Ave. Another thing I'm keeping a close eye on just to the west of it is an injury crash that was just reported. It's on I-485, the inner loop, once you're approaching I-77. It's at exit 67. It's backed up about 2 miles right now. Still learning more as to what exactly is going on, but we at least know that there is a crash that's slowing you down. I-485, the inner loop there. So your alternate route for that will just be to take South Boulevard. Continuing on now with what we're following next. Another thing, there's another crash here on Independence at Margaret Wallace Road, saying yellow backing up here, meaning that traffic is just flowing kind of a little slower than it typically should. Independence, we're seeing our typical slowdowns at this point. And then I-77, another crash here. It's southbound right before Remount Road. It's just meaning that we're having some slow traffic that's moving. It's not blocked or anything, but you can see all of that red, meaning that people are slowing down because of that ongoing wreck. We'll have another check on this traffic report coming up here in a few, but Lisa, that's what I have for now.
All right, Majestic, sounds good. 7:06 now. Panthers fans feeling excited because football is in the air. Today, the Panthers hold their first practice of training camp.
This year camp's going to be in Uptown, but fans won't be able to watch it because of construction of the new practice facility. But that's not stopping the excitement, that's for sure. Joining us now to talk Panthers sports director Nick Carboni. Nick, good to see you. Thanks for waking up early with us. All right, let's begin with expectations, because I know the team's expectations are one thing. I'll put that over on one side. But then also you have those expectations from fans and national media. How do you separate those?
Yeah, good morning, Ben. Good morning, Lisa. Yeah, they run the gamut, right? Those expectations, depending on who you talk to. If you talk to Panthers fans, I know some of them are expecting double-digit wins based on the way that Bryce Young specifically closed last season. He had 18 touchdowns over his last 9 games, and that was after being benched 2 weeks into the season and really having no hope of being back on the field for the Panthers again. But they put him back in. He excels. He finds his confidence. So fans are looking at that, especially the last game, 5 touchdowns and a win at rival Atlanta, and thinking, okay, he's got it. He's found it, and that's going to carry us. National media is on the other end of that spectrum. They're saying, more or less same old Panthers, maybe 6 wins, not even close to the playoffs. They don't have the roster that's good enough. And a lot of them are still skeptical that Bryce Young is going to live up to those number 1 pick expectations. And then I think you have where the team is. And I think this organization, for all the dysfunction that there has been the last 10 years or so, I think it's a very grounded organization right now. They consider this not the longest term project. Former coach Matt Rule once said a 7-year project, and people didn't like that, and he's not here anymore. But they know that they are in year 2 under this general manager, Dan Morgan. They know that they are in year 2 under this head coach in Dave Canales, and they're building the roster that way. The national media looks and says, you still have this lack of star all-pro, Pro Bowl talent throughout the roster. I think what the front office here would tell you is, yeah, but we're building up to getting to the point where we have it at just about every position. So in their minds, this is year 2 of still something that's a process and a project. In fact, GM Dan Morgan yesterday, he gave us kind of an opening salvo for training camp. And what's the word he didn't say? Playoffs. That's not a publicly stated goal for this team. Of course, they'd like to compete for a spot in the postseason for the first time since 2017. But they are really grounded in their approach to building this roster and doing something that can have sustained success rather than just a flash in the pan.
Nick, we have Chris joining us here at the desk as well. But the team, they picked up a wide receiver in the first round of the draft, which was a surprise for a lot of people. What do you expect from him in training camp and in his rookie year?
Yeah. And hey, Chris, sorry I forgot you, buddy. My Boston sports friend. Let's not talk about the Red Sox, though, please. Goodness, no. Yeah, so Lisa, you're talking about Tetairoa McMillan, and he is a very tall, smooth athlete out of the University of Arizona. Everybody thought on draft night, and I talked to you guys the next morning, the Panthers were picking defense. They had a guy in their backyard, Jalen Walker in Salisbury, North Carolina, ready to go, raring to come down here. He goes to Atlanta because the Panthers pick McMillan. Picking McMillan is a clear effort to upgrade the players around Bryce Young so he can take that next step in his development. So listen, from a reporter's perspective, reporting on a flashy new wide receiver at the beginning of training camp is a dream. We'll see how it goes. One thing I will say about McMillan and last year's first-round pick, Xavier Legette, who I think will improve this year, the biggest problem he had last year was dropping the football. That's just not something McMillan did in college very often, if at all. So having a big target for Bryce Young to throw to and rely on to catch the ball down the field in the end zone was a real priority for this team, and that's why they snagged McMillan, and we'll get a chance to see him today. He did sit out the last couple of days of minicamp back in June. They're being a little cautious with a hamstring injury, so hopefully he's out there today, this morning.
And I'm really excited, Nick, because McMillan's also gotten like Mike Evans comparison. So as Panthers fans, we've seen plenty of Mike Evans over the years. But I also
too much.
Yeah, too much, right? I also want to bring up kind of the depth chart here, because at the end of the season, I really saw Bryce Young throwing to a lot of tight end play with Timble, but then also Coker kind of seemed like he evolved. What are kind of some of the deeper roster elements that you think? Because everyone says Bryce Young doesn't have enough weapons. Do you think he has enough weapons this year?
I think they've definitely made improvements or the efforts to improve. Now, a lot of this stuff, it looks good on paper. It has to produce on the field. And you talk about receivers like Jalen Coker, an undrafted rookie last year who came in and became one of Bryce's favorite targets, as you mentioned. But that receiver room, which for the last couple of years has just been kind of veteran Adam Thielen still doing his thing into his mid-30s, and then everybody else, that receiver room has kind of gotten stacked virtually overnight with the addition of McMillan. You still have Legette on the roster, last year's first-round pick. They brought in one of the best stories, I think, in football heading into training camp, Hunter Renfrow, former Clemson star. He's a walk-on for the Tigers, won a national championship, drafted by the Raiders, makes a Pro Bowl. He actually sat out last year entirely with ulcerative colitis. He lost a ton of weight. He was really sick. He worked an office job down in South Carolina, and now he's back playing football. He's in the receiver room. So you've added another Pro Bowl player. They drafted a really intriguing player in the late rounds, Jimmy Horn, who was one of Shedeur Sanders' targets outside of Heisman winner Travis Hunter at Colorado. He's a guy that a lot of fans, we talk about expectations. They want to compare him to Steve Smith Sr., one of the best players in franchise history already, but he's got a lot of really interesting attributes. So that receiver room to me has probably been, outside of the defensive line, the most improved unit on this team, because they sat there and said, look, Bryce was able to get it done at the end with Adam Thielen, Jalen Coker, and some of these other players, but let's continue to add more talent.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about expectations, the team's expectations, fans' expectations, the national media's expectations, and then you have Chris Mulcahy's expectations, which is basically that they're already winning the Super Bowl.
Going to the Super Bowl.
Don't know if you heard that yesterday, the whole breakdown of how things are looking that way.
Yeah, Nick, did you hear the conspiracy about the losing season, Ohio State, and playing the Jaguars week 1? So I was dropping that, so I was like,
Yeah, good find. I know there's a lot of Panthers fans out there that'll gladly don your same tinfoil hat on that one, Chris. But listen, sports are strange like that, right? We see stuff like that crop up all the time, and especially in the NFL. Like, where did this team come from? As much as the Panthers think they're on the track to kind of be that breakout team next year, who knows? I mean, they've made the improvements to where if things break the right way and the stars align, so to speak, they could be right there. And listen, a trip to the Super Bowl would be magnificent. I'm actually about to embark on season 10 here in Carolina. I'm a little hesitant to tell people that because of the way the last 10 years have gone. I think they might start looking at me a little bit. So I got here right after the last Super Bowl trip. I'd love to go to one this year too, Chris. We can tag team coverage on that one.
So Nick's saying we have a chance.
That would be fun.
So you're saying there's a chance, right?
Be?
Don't forget the alignment to J-Lo divorces.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
That's an important element as well. Okay.
So okay, yeah. So I guess
Works out.
I don't know where that stands. I'll be honest, but
Okay.
yeah,
All right, Nick.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
you got it.
All right. Well, today the world is remembering heavy metal icon Ozzy Osbourne. The man known as the Prince of Darkness died yesterday at the age of 76, just weeks after he played the farewell show in England. Osbourne spent 5 decades in the spotlight. He first rose to fame as the frontman for Black Sabbath before going on to a successful solo music career. And later he became a reality TV star on the MTV show that followed his family life. Now, as he got older, Osbourne became more open about his health struggles, including Parkinson's disease, but that didn't keep him from making music. Ozzy's influence also faced its share of criticism. He was accused of being a negative influence on teens and that worshiping Satan. That's an allegation he consistently rejected.
Of course, his career filled with many highlights. I think one of them appearing beside our very own Larry Sprinkle. That's right. Check this out. This is footage from the 1986 horror film Trick or Treat, where Ozzy plays a reverend who criticizes rock and roll music. Larry, as you see right there, looks exactly the same.
It really does. Look at that great hair.
Played the part of a talk show host interviewing him. Check this out.
We have some pretty ribald stuff here. Those rockers really have a strange sense of humor, don't they?
I don't even think it's a sense of humor. I think they're just out-and-out sick people. I mean, and they're trying to make everyone else around them who listens to their music as sick as they are.
Reverend, let me ask you a question.
Larry Sprinkle with the hard questions.
And easy answers, yeah.
I love
yeah,
it.
he was, that was back in 1986.
Yes.
I was working here at the station, had a break to work in this film. Well, I've been around at Wilmington, that's where that was shot.
Okay.
It's like Hollywood East. There are a lot of films being shot down there. I had a chance to do some work in different movies, but that was exceptional because at that time Ozzy was going through a phase where he was completely sober. Up to that point, you'd had all the crazy things going on, and then later on in the 90s and 2000s, the Osbournes. But I spent like 3 days with him, and he was down to earth, nice guy.
Right.
They braided his hair back, so it was actually shorter than mine, if you saw in the clip right
Yes.
there. And I remember him saying that he went, you know, if my mom saw me right now, she'd want me to come back to England and be a truck driver again. Apparently early on in his life, when he was a teenager, he was a truck driver.
Wow, okay.
But, I mean, he was honest. I said, Ozzy, I want to ask you some questions. And I said, what about this thing about the bat? And he explained it.
Yeah.
Yes.
He did. He said one time he did. The rest of the time he did use the act, but it was a rubber bat. He said that was a mistake that first time that he did it.
Right.
But, I mean, you know, kind of an exceptionally unusual guy in many different
I
ways.
think it's so interesting because you have a career with Black Sabbath, you have then a really successful solo career,
Right.
and then you have really the start of reality TV.
The very beginning.
Oh, yeah.
You can probably count on one hand the number of artists who have a successful second act and then the successful third act.
I mean,
no
a
doubt.
full life he lived.
Totally. I mean, he died, yes, at 76, but I'm not. I bet if he could have said, yes, I did everything I wanted to do, and Sharon, who was the love
Yes.
of his life, she straightened him out more or less. Then he had 6 children. By the way, his name is John Michael Osbourne.
Wow.
John
Did
Michael
not know
Ozzy
that.
Osbourne, yes.
Doesn't
Wow.
quite sound as heavy metal as Ozzy.
Not at all. Yeah. By the way, he hated the term heavy metal. He said, we're heavy, but we're not heavy metal. There's other bands heavier than Black Sabbath, is what he said.
The best part is that he got to perform in his hometown 3 weeks ago.
That,
Yes, he did. Close it out right there.
Right.
What a way to go.
You-
That was a
doesn't get
swan
better
song.
than
that was it. His
Yeah.
farewell.
In his hometown, it doesn't get any better than that.
So cool. Thanks for joining us, Larry.
Always a Larry angle. Always a Larry angle.
Always.
We love it. We love it.
All right, well, moving on. These days, cold plunges are all the rage. But in meteorology, a cold pool isn't the kind of chill that you choose. It's the kind that shows up in your forecast.
In this week's Weather IQ, meteorologist Becca Birdsall explains what a cold pool means for thunderstorm development.
When we think of pools, we usually picture something to cool off in. But the atmosphere has its own kind of pools. They don't involve a diving board or sunscreen. Let's dive into the cold pools of the atmosphere and raise your weather IQ. A cold pool is a bubble of chilly air created when rain falls out of a thunderstorm cloud. That cool air becomes heavier and plunges to the ground, spreading out along the surface fast. When it hits the surface, it creates powerful gusts of wind that toss around leaves, dust, and sometimes even debris. This rush of air is part of what we call an outflow boundary, like a mini cold front created by the storm itself. You can often spot this boundary on radar as a thin line racing ahead of the storm. Cold pools can either shut down a storm or spark new ones. If the cold pool settles directly underneath the storm cloud, it can block the rising warm humid air that was fueling it. The storm loses its power source and fades out. But if the outflow boundary lifts warm, moist air nearby, it can trigger new storms along its edge. In some cases, this leads to training storms, where thunderstorms form over the same area again and again, like train cars on a track. That's a recipe for heavy rain and flash flooding. You can feel a cold pool before a storm even arrives. The sudden cool breeze, the swirling winds, and the eerie calm, that's your atmospheric heads up. From the Weather Impact Team, I'm meteorologist Becca Birdsall.
Great job, Becca. Well, I'm happy to say that we have no cold pools, no cold anything in the near term, but we are going to see those rain chances return. So earlier I was really just focusing on the heat. I want to show you what we dealt with yesterday for the rain. We saw actually a very similar setup to what Becca was talking about, and you might have felt some of those cooler breezes from time to time. One shower was pushing off to another, forming another, and then eventually got out of here by the evening. Now we have some much drier air that is left behind this, and that's why today is the only day that's dry across the Charlotte area. Did have a little bit of a light sprinkle action up in the mountains, and looks like that is now ceasing to exist. And then we have isolated storms possibly coming back for your Thursday, Friday, and heading into the weekend. Here's the deal. We had a front down towards the south. Now it's going to start to push back, and that's going to allow for a little extra moisture to surge back in. Today is the driest day, and as long as we have a high pressure system overhead that's going to keep us nice and dry, that is actually going to start to retreat by tomorrow. Here's the rain chances starting tomorrow morning. I think you have a little bit of action up here in the mountains and the foothills. First signs of rain is an isolated storm, I would say further off towards the east, but it's really here in our South Carolina counties. I think it has the best chance for rain maybe to end the day, heading into the evening. But as you can see, really few and far between along the I-85 corridor up to the I-40 corridor, so likely most of us are staying dry. For your Friday, better chance for those popcorn kernel storms. That's going to be a pop-up isolated storm here and there. Not really a big coverage area, and oftentimes when it's this hot and humid, it's really tough to form storms. Sometimes it can create a cap, but we're going to have a chance for storms each and every day because that atmospheric moisture is actually at a low. Right now, we're almost borderline dry today, but then you start to see it come back heading into your Friday and the weekend. As long as you're in that yellow range, that is a wet atmosphere. We were rocking close to the pinks not too long ago when we were dealing with a lot of flooding across the United States. Still seeing it, just not as much. Our 7-day forecast showing that we're weather alert Saturday and Sunday. Highs close to 100 degrees Saturday through Monday, and we'll hold on to the upper 90s through the middle of next week. That's your weather report. Let's get over to Majestic. Good morning to you.
Good morning, everyone. We'll still want to give you another update on that live scene that we are here following very carefully for you. It's a water main break. Crews are on scene continuing to repair it. It has blocked down 2 lanes right here where it is, so it's making for a slower morning commute. If you typically drive this way, you can see where it's at as we're looking at my live traffic map now. It's right on Sharon Amity Road at Central Ave. Crews have been there all night and now all morning long. If you're familiar with this area, it's out towards Compare Foods Market, and you can see that small backup there. You can see the orange just indicating a slower morning commute. Your alternate route for this would just to be taking Central Ave. And then another thing that we're continuing to follow very carefully is this is an injury incident. It's involving a truck in Still Creek. It's on I-485, the inner loop as you're approaching I-77. It's at exit 67, so just stop and go traffic. It's backed up all the way to South Boulevard, so that's kind of the biggest thing that we're following right now. And then another minor crash here. It's on Still Creek Road near Maxim Court. We'll have another update coming up in just a few.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. Time for today's tiny town, and it's Love Valley, which is just to the north of Statesville, northeast of Taylorsville, in the Brushy Mountains of North Carolina. And Love Valley is Interesting, because it is a cowboy town that was actually founded back in 1954. It's in Iredell County. And one important part of this, no cars are allowed, only horses. It's a real, authentic cowboy town. Population is 90. Area is just a little bit over 1 square mile. Founded in 1954 by Andy Barker. He founded it with lots of love and therefore the name Love Valley. So remember, if you go there, no cars allowed. You can walk or especially ride that horse. Love Valley, that's today's Tiny Town. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
All right, Larry, thanks so much. We're going to take a quick break, but make sure you keep it right here on WCNC Plus. We're going to be back with another update on weather and traffic, as well as today's top headlines.
Good morning, everybody. Today is going to be the least humid day of the week for at least the foreseeable future. It's dropping down right below that humid range. Still going to be a hot afternoon, though, reaching up into the lower 90s, pretty much where we should be this time of year. Just a little bit on the drier side. We should have plenty of sunshine. A sunny to a mostly sunny day. Get outside and enjoy it. And sunset time at 8:34. We're going to see eventually down to 84 degrees by about 9 p.m. And then beyond that, heading into tomorrow, we have a slightly warmer day. It's just about 1 or 2 degrees warmer. It's also a little bit muggier with a chance for a passing shower and storm. Our 7-day forecast shows it's much hotter after that. 96, 99, 98, flirting with 100 degrees this weekend and beyond. What's going on for our traffic? Let's get over to Majestic.
Good morning, everyone. Well, our WCNC crews are here on scene. Here's a live look as construction workers are there continuing to repair a water main that did break. They've been there for hours. Right now, 2 lanes are currently blocked. It's on Sharon Amity Road at Central Ave. We don't have an exact time on when this will be cleared. If you're familiar with the area, it's out towards Compare Foods Market, and that backup is starting. We're starting to see some orange, so you might want to take Central Ave. We're also following this an injury accident. It's on I-485, the inner loop as you get close to I-77. More coming up on WCNC Plus.
Thanks for joining us live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Frustration's boiling over right now in Kings Mountain as folks demand action over their drinking water issues.
WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards is live this morning with details on the community meeting that was held last night and the message this morning to those in charge. Destiny.
Yeah, people here in Kings Mountain say the tap water just is not safe to drink, and some even say they won't even cook with it. But now they're really going to the city now, demanding more than just apologies. They want accountability and a plan to fix this. Now, as you said, frustrations are just continuing to surge in Kings Mountain as residents demand answers about the city's water supply. Families and business owners say the water has been discolored, smelly, and in some cases made people sick. One restaurant now gives customers bottled water after staff reported stomach cramps and nausea they believe are connected to the tap water. Others say conditions have improved somewhat, but the problem isn't fixed, and many no longer trust what's coming out of their faucets. At a packed city council meeting, neighbors called for transparency and relief.
We are asking for waived water utility bills until the water quality is fully restored. And we're asking for reimbursement for bottled water and at-home water filtration system.
The city needs help. And if we sit up here acting like it's in good shape, we're not doing you a service.
Now, so far, city leaders have just acknowledged the issues, but they have not come forward with any plans for reimbursement or any specific fixes. And right now, residents are just saying they'll continue to show up and to speak up until they see real change. Ben, Lisa.
I mean, real change. Something like this is one of those things you don't really appreciate until there's an issue with it. You know, you take your drinking water for granted. What's the logical next step for these folks, for these neighbors, to get something done?
Yeah, so right now they're really just kind of responding to what's happening. Again, that restaurant handing out complimentary bottled water, people having to get creative when it comes to filtrating their water if they can. But we know that community advocates say they just ask residents here to keep on reaching out to city officials directly until they get some kind of answer. And of course, they'll continue to show up at city council meetings as well. But we have not seen any specific plan of action from the city thus far.
All right, Destiny Richards reporting live for us there in Kings Mountain. Destiny, thank you.
Well, today was an easy choice for the best day of the week because it's the most comfortable by far, and it's not often that you have like a nice little dip in the humidity like what we have today. 92 degrees is still going to feel hot, so there's only so much we can do for July. But it's a gorgeous day already as we're overlooking our WCNC camera on top of our building there. And our current temperatures we overlook here in Monroe. Beautiful wherever you go, just some upper level clouds from place to place. It's 74 degrees right now in Charlotte, so that is our morning low officially so far. Could have had a couple of 5-minute observations that are a little bit cooler. 70 degrees around Shelby, 73 in Morganton, and a nice crisp 66 up in Boone. Here's the deal. Our dew points continue to topple down. This morning we have actually felt still a little bit sticky, but compared to yesterday, these dew points are in the lower 70s. So we actually had a heat index starting off the 4 and 5 o'clock hour. We didn't have that today, and this number is only going to continue to decrease as we work our way through the next several hours. And whenever you drop a dew point into the 50s, it actually feels great, especially for this time of year. So 90 is actually going to feel like 90 degrees by the middle of the afternoon. We'll get into the lower 90s today, and if you're going to the Ghost Peppers game, it's a great day for it. The game's at 12:30, and we're expecting sunshine throughout. Could have a breeze up to about 7 to 12 miles per hour. Occasional gusts maybe up to 20, but that's not too bad. High temperatures in the lower 90s, but rain-free. Nothing to worry about in the near term. Our high temperatures today, 92. Tomorrow, 93. I think we have more clouds that start to drift in from the south and southeast. But then Friday, 96, 99 on Saturday. And I think that some of those days actually could hit 100 as we work our way through the weekend. As far as our lows go, tomorrow morning is going to be our coolest low that we're going to have for at least the next 7 days. And speaking of, Our lows have been averaging around 72 degrees for the last almost 2 months. The last time Charlotte had a below normal low was June 3rd. Now, of course, our average lows changed. They started off in the mid 60s to begin the month of June and then leveled out in the lower 70s. But each and every day has been above normal. So that's really been helping us achieve greatness in the charts as far as the hottest July on record. Right now, we're the 3rd hottest, and I do not think that we're going to surpass 1986 and 1993, which are one of the hottest years and summers on record. Our peak heat indices, though, a little concerning. I know you might be getting tired of this. It's like, oh, another heat advisory. But I think that this one is going to produce some even hotter heat indices than what we saw before. The maximum that we've seen so far this year is 110. I think some parts of the Carolinas realistically could have that this weekend and beyond. So even though it's a heat advisory, I think some areas could once again be under an excessive heat warning. Now it's called an extreme heat warning by the National Weather Service. We saw this back in June where we did hit that 110 mark, and that was actually over in Raleigh that got that designation. So your 7-day forecast, you see temperatures are on the rise. Admittedly, I think I'm a little bit on the conservative side, but I think that the upper 90s, really from 98 plus, is pretty much a surefire thing through the weekend heading into next week. Now, of course, developing storm chances will inhibit where our temperatures go, but some of these days might need to be put up in the triple digits. The last time that we had multiple 100-degree days in a given year was 2015. So it actually could be potentially a record-breaking stretch, and we continue that 90-degree stretch as well. So coming up, there's a boatload of stats that I've dug up as far as this heat, where it compares to previous years. So I'm going to dump all of those on you here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. But first, we have to hurry on over to Majestic to see how our morning commute's faring.
Good morning, everyone. Still want to give you another update on that water main leak that they are continuing to fix. Our crews are there on scene. This is a live look. You can see lots of construction workers are out there trying to get that fixed. They've been working on it since last night, really overnight early this morning. They've blocked 2 lanes because of it. Noticing still that traffic can still flow through it. It might just add on a couple of minutes for your morning commute. Let's break down exactly where this is as we're looking at my live traffic map. There's a lot going on, that's for sure, but continuing with that repair work that is ongoing. It's at Sharon Amity Road at Central Ave. They have been working on this for several hours. We don't have an exact time on when it's going to be done and over with, but we'll continue to give you up to date. Things that we're continuing to see over the next hour or so. Your best alternate route will just be to take Central Ave. Another thing that we're following, though, is right here. You can see all of this red here. It's an injury incident. It's involving at least one truck, and we know that at least one person has been injured in this. It's on I-485, the inner loop there as you're getting close to I-77. It's at exit 67. Just that stop and go traffic, you can see it's out towards Pineville where we have that congestion that's really starting to build. Coming up in just a few minutes, I'm going to give you a couple of alternate routes. This is where you typically travel this morning, and give you another update on what we're following for the very latest. Lisa.
Majestic, thanks. Many of you have probably let your kids spend the day at Carowinds, but there are some serious concerns about safety this morning after a teenager says they were sexually assaulted in the parking lot. WCNC Charlotte's Siobhan Riley spoke with parents who are demanding answers this morning.
Especially at a place that's like advertised to families, pisses me off, honestly. Like, it makes me very angry to know that like something like that could happen.
Visitors who just left Carowinds say they're still trying to understand what led to the reported sexual assault that happened Sunday evening at the park.
A lot of younger siblings, so it is concerning to hear because, you know, like my siblings are there. I want to take care of them, protect them.
The details remain limited, but parents leaving the park Tuesday told us they noticed more visible security.
Having the police officers out there today, I saw a couple of our uniform officers had their general presence there. I think it's a good deterrent.
Randall Stywalt takes her godchildren to Carowinds. She's demanding transparency from the park on how they're working to protect children.
I would like to see a statement put out, maybe some changes, update the policy, make people more security more visible so that people are aware and feel safe.
And CMPD continues to investigate. We pressed Carowinds for answers to find out what it is doing to address safety. It released a statement saying Carowinds is committed to providing a safe environment for our guests and associates. We work in close partnership with the local law enforcement agencies to maintain a secure presence inside and outside the park. Siobhan Riley, WCNC Charlotte.
A Newton police officer charged with murder is back home this morning after being released on bond. Officer Carlos Uribe made his first court appearance yesterday. Police say Uribe killed 21-year-old Camden Childers on June 26th after a brief police chase ended with a physical altercation in Conover. A district attorney later found Uribe's actions were not justified. He is out on a $100,000 bond.
This morning, families at the Dream Center Academy in Gastonia are worried about what upcoming education cuts means for them. North Carolina facing $165 million in cuts, which could impact dozens of programs that families really rely on. That's why State Attorney General Jeff Jackson joined a massive lawsuit against the Trump administration. The goal to release $7 billion in funding already approved by Congress. During a visit to the Dream Center yesterday, Jackson spoke about why it's so important.
It's just something that I couldn't get anywhere else. It's just a one-of-a-kind program.
This is a pillar of the community. If this place did not exist, we would need to invent it.
You can learn about how to support the Dream Center right now inside the WCNC mobile app. CMS also making changes while it waits on federal funding. The district waiting on more than $12 million. To avoid any big cuts right now, the district is freezing spending and using leftover money from last year. They're starting with things like contracts and vacant jobs, but if the money doesn't come through, families could start to see larger impacts. We're talking about fewer resources in the classroom and reduced services for students.
7:41 now. An animal rescue is back to helping dogs in need now that more than $8,000 in donations are finally back in its bank account.
The nonprofit spent more than 2 months questioning PayPal about the missing donations, but couldn't get any results. That quickly changed when WCNC Charlotte's Nate Moravito stepped in and asked, "Where's the money?"
Meg Mark's heart for rescues extends well beyond her backyard. In January, the rescue that forever connected her with Milo asked for donations to help cover another dog's vet bill, so she sent money.
I just assumed my money was going right to them for parvo intervention.
Only recently, almost 6 months after donating, Marks learned her money never made it to Daisy Bean Rescue. Where'd your money go?
That's a great question.
That $20 is among more than $8,000 raised through social media campaigns and collected by PayPal that failed to make it to the nonprofit, an organization that supports and fosters rescue dogs across the Carolinas, often saving their lives.
It's very frustrating. And at the end of the day, our dogs are left suffering.
Rachel Leeser is founder and president of Daisy Bean Rescue, which is solely funded by donations.
We're on a complete pause. We can't do anything right now.
Leeser says she spent months pestering PayPal to try and get some kind of resolution, with no luck.
It gets escalated every time.
In the meantime, PayPal emailed donors, telling them the company couldn't deliver the money and urged them to consider another charity instead.
It's really discouraging, yeah.
That's when Marks reached out to WCNC Charlotte on her friend's behalf.
I don't know what to do at this point.
Knowing, for once, the nonprofit was the one that needed rescuing.
They deserve all the support that they can get.
While her dog sniffed us out, we emailed PayPal, and within minutes, the company promised to look into this.
By the end of the day, a relieved Leeser texted me this, saying a PayPal representative called her, apologized, and started working to get the money to Daisy Bean Rescue.
Can I please give you a hug? Thank you so much. I literally have been crying all the past 24 hours. Yes. I'm beside myself. I literally can't thank you enough.
Leeser learned the company did try and deliver the donations months ago. But instead of depositing the money into her PayPal Giving Fund account, mailed checks to the address listed on her account, a home she moved out of in December.
I hung up the phone with her and started crying. My husband came in the room and was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "We're getting the money. I can't believe they found it."
The company told her it would resolve the misunderstanding by the end of July. Just days later, the money arrived.
It's huge.
Leeser can't stop thinking about all the ways those donations will soon help so many dogs. In fact, it's already allowed her.
We already were able to take in another dog this morning.
To start saying yes again to rescues. Nate Morabito, WCNC Charlotte.
Glad that was able to be resolved. Well, fall might feel far away in this heat, but we're now less than 2 months away from the first day of autumn. And if you are ready for some fall colors, a new forecast shows that leaves will peak in the mountains around October 20th and here locally at the beginning of November. However, peak color depends on a few things like cool nights, sunny days, and just the right weather mix.
Looking at this video, we can just keep on. It's like sort of our moment of zen when we're expecting 90 degrees and you see the fall colors and you start to think about like a nice crisp air and you're like, oh, that looks amazing right now.
So pretty.
Yeah. Not too crisp, but just the right amount.
Just the right amount.
Yeah.
Is there a good spot to go and to see the fall foliage when it's peak season?
So many good spots. I mean, I think usually it's right around middle of October. That's why I said this seems a little later than usual. It's usually like October 14th or 15th. You go up to Boone, Blowing Rock, Banner Out, all those places, just stunning, amazing.
As far as the eye can see.
Blue Ridge
I'm
Parkway.
excited.
It's just the best.
Yeah.
It really
the
is.
best.
Gorgeous.
And I'm from New England, and I have to say the Blue Ridge actually does match, I think.
Oh.
New England.
Really?
And that's saying a lot because we're known for it up there,
Yeah.
too. So, and as far as the leaf weather goes, here are the big 3 check boxes. You need to have above average wet growing season, so it's really from the very beginning in spring.
Okay.
September needs to be cool and sunny, so you need those cool nights to really change things over. So what that does is that shuts off the chlorophyll and allows some of the other different pigments to come through, like the anthocyanin, the carotenoids. That's going to create,
Yeah.
So, by the way, anthocyanins, the ones that really create the reds, the carotenoids. Think of carrots. Those are the ones that usually make more of the oranges and the yellows. But you have to avoid the high winds and the rainstorms in October. So that's been the big problem in recent years, that we've had leftover tropical systems that have come through that have blown a lot of the leaves off.
So the colors we see in October are really months in the making.
Exactly. Yeah, we're doing it right now, technically.
Wow.
And as far as your seasonal countdown goes, if you're looking forward to all those fall activities, pumpkin spice, y'all, we officially released this yesterday. That's when pumpkin spice is coming back out, August 26th. Might be a little bit early in some of our opinions. Yes. And the Panther home opener, though, September 21st. The season starts 2 weeks prior to that, but the time that they're going to be back in town, September 21st. The 22nd, first day of fall, and then Halloween 101 days away. So we're right around the corner.
All the things, so many things.
So many things, yeah, and we are pure summer, though, until we get to that pumpkin spice date. I can show you the next 10 days already, and it's well above normal. 92 degrees is great, and you can actually take that as a break, believe it or not. Yesterday, we were technically at 90, but it was still overly muggy. We still had a real feel that got into the upper 90s in some spots. Today, we're a little bit close to actual temperature because these values come down, and then they hit their bottom right between about 2 and 4 o'clock. That's what you want. Whenever you have that, that's going to minimize our heat index, and it makes it feel much better. Now, 92 in the sunshine is 92 in the sunshine, but at least you don't have that muggy air. It's not as apparent. So it is actually much better, even though it is still going to be another hot day, but not the hottest. Our atmospheric moisture is also starting to thrive. And that's especially down towards the south. So the further south and southeast you go, I think over the next couple of days, those are going to be the best chances for rain and some heavy rain. But all that tropical moisture is something to definitely watch, because if you get a low pressure system driving into that, it gets a chance to be independent of itself and circulate. You will have a chance for a little bit of tropical development. The last zone that we were looking at, that was Invest 94L, that did not come to fruition. Now we have another low that's going to move across Florida, very similar to the last projection that we were saying, hey, this potentially could be Dexter moving into Louisiana. Well, now we're looking ahead over the next 2 to 7 days to see if anything does come to fruition for a little tropical wave. No investigation as of yet, but something definitely worth watching. I've seen many 10% move to actual hurricanes. Not saying this will be a hurricane, but definitely not something I'm just going to put in the rear view mirror. Our isolated rain chances return by tomorrow. Today's the only day that separates itself. Whenever you have a high pressure system directly overhead, and that's exactly what we have, you're going to have a drier forecast. But that starts to slide back out by tomorrow, returning some of those isolated rain chances, but nothing's really a guarantee. We don't really have anything widespread saying, hey, it's going to rain for several hours. No, it's the usual pop-up variety of showers and thunderstorms. Here's what that looks like by 1 o'clock tomorrow. Didn't show you today because nothing's happening. I think it's areas really east and south of Charlotte that have the best chance for rain developing into the evening. But you don't have a lot of activity. Actually, we're sunny most of the day. Clouds push back up. And then on Friday afternoon, the usual pop-up shower or thunderstorm doesn't last long, usually less than 45 minutes. So welcome back to the usual pattern. Our 3-day heat impact. This is a unique product by the National Weather Service that was was developed over the last couple of years. And whenever it turns purple like this, that is expecting an extreme heat impact. And the reason for that is we could feel anywhere from 100 to 110 degrees for our actual heat indices. I have 99 on Saturday, 98s for your Sunday and Monday. Only 2 weather alert days for now, but we likely are going to expand this out with the chance of more heat advisories. Just note, this will be our hottest weekend that we've had so far this year. Coming up, though, I'm going to really show you a bunch of different facts and stats that we have about this potential heat streak that we're on, and also our chance at 100 degrees this coming weekend. But all you have to know, today is the best. It gets a lot more miserable and hot after this. Majestic, take it away.
All right, good morning, everyone. Want to give you another update. Our crews are here on scene. This is a live look. Remember, this is at Sharon Amity Road. Crews, construction workers are there working on a water leak, repairing it. 2 lanes are currently blocked. I'm still noticing that cars can get around it just fine going both ways, and we're not seeing any major slowdowns, but, you know, just take it easy as they're continuing to fix that for us this morning. As we switch it over to our traffic maps, giving you perspective as to where that is. Again, Sharon Amity Road at Central Ave, where crews have been working on this since last night. Again, not seeing any major concerns, but if you don't want to deal with any of that, then you can always just go ahead and get around it by taking Central Ave. Another thing that's very important for you to know, if you take I-485, the inner loop, especially just south of Charlotte, you can see it here. An injury accident. We know at least 1 person has gotten hurt by this. It's at exit 65, the inner loop. Again, stop and go traffic. It's backed up to South Boulevard. Your best alternate route to get around it would just be to take Ray Road to Highway 51. We'll have another update coming up here shortly. Ben.
Thanks. This morning, North Carolina inmates being accused of running phone scams from inside the jails. At least 20 cases are under investigation across the state, including here in Mecklenburg County. Authorities say an impersonator will call an inmate's family, pretend to be a bail bondsman, and then they'll demand the family pay a percentage of the bond over the phone in return for what they say will be an earlier release. If that fails, the caller then turns up the pressure.
They say, well, you know, your relative has some enemies here, and he may not live through next week unless we get him out of here.
That would scare anybody. Officials say you should always be wary of unsolicited phone calls and don't fall for pressure tactics that try to get you to make a payment immediately.
Stolen cell phones remain a big concern for police. We told you earlier this month how CMPD issued an alert to stay aware in certain areas of the city. Now, NBC's Stephanie Gosk explains how a phone stolen from Charlotte ended up more than 8,000 miles away.
Last January, Thomas Baker was out with friends at a bar in Charlotte, North Carolina. The last time he had his phone.
It was kind of surprising because you don't really expect to be pickpocketed in Charlotte.
But actually, phone thefts at bars in Charlotte have gotten so bad, the police posted this video warning online.
I don't think this is a Charlotte issue. I don't think it's a Center City issue. I think this is a national issue.
Back home, Baker logged into Find My iPhone on his laptop.
I started tracking the location.
Within hours, his phone went from Charlotte to Cowpen, South Carolina. Thomas Baker's phone was clearly on the move, and it ended up here, not in North or South Carolina, but Miami, Florida. And the Find My app placed it inside this 100-year-old church downtown. Pastor Gideon Ape is not surprised. He says dozens of people from all over the country have reached out about stolen phones since last August. So often, he reported it to the police, who came up empty.
We started getting people walking up to the church, like, pounding on the doors, like, hey, my phone is here, my phone is here.
The pastor let them inside the church, walking them through the pews. The phones weren't here.
Just to be crystal clear, Pastor Gideon, when you are not giving your sermon in front of a congregation, you are not collecting stolen phones, are you?
No, absolutely not. No, not at all.
Baker's phone's exact location was difficult to pin down, clearly not in the church, and more likely in a nearby building, making its way through something of a black market pipeline. And even though Baker had used Apple's security features to lock the phone, the hardware was still valuable. That's probably why it ended up in the last place it pinged, Hong Kong.
We build these devices that are just so valuable that we just wave around, like, just literally shaking around gold bricks in the air.
Andrew Huang is a hardware engineer and often visits this market in Shenzhen, China, not that far from Hong Kong, where he says the sale of cell phone parts does big business.
You'll see bags, like just kilogram bags of cameras just sitting there. And you'll see like a pile of like 100 screens sitting on another table.
A long journey for a phone that was stolen in Charlotte, North Carolina, and a vivid reminder that on a night out.
How about also don't keep your phone in your back pocket?
Yeah, I was going to get to that one too. Yeah, don't keep your phone in your back pocket. As many friends lovingly reminded me that night.
We're going to take a quick break right now. It's 7:55. More breaking news, weather, and traffic right here on WCNC Plus.
Welcome everybody. I've been claiming this is my pick of the week. It's also National Vanilla Ice Cream Day and National Sprinkle Day. Shout out to Larry. And we're looking at temperatures reaching the lower 90s for this afternoon, 92, with a delightful sky. It's a sunny to a mostly sunny one. By tomorrow, we're picking up more clouds, especially later on in the afternoon. Slight chance for a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. That's pretty much what we have. We don't really have any widespread rain chances over the next 7 days. Instead, yet again, what's the major story? The heat. This time, we are aiming our sights at the hottest weekend so far in 2025. Last weekend was the hottest. Now we're outdoing that one. Highs close to 100. Some of us will hit 100 degrees with a real feel close to 106, and we could hold that into the middle of next week. Stay cool, everyone, and enjoy the best day, at least for the near term. Majestic, take it away. What's going on?
Good morning, everyone. Want to show you a live look outside. Our crews are there on scene. Want to show you where construction workers are continuing to try to repair a water main that did break. They've been working on this for hours now, and 2 lanes are blocked off, but as you can see, cars are still able to get through just fine. It's on Sharon Amity Road at Central Ave. We don't have any set time on when they're going to be complete with that project, but if you want to avoid it, you can always just take Central Ave. Another thing we're following is this right here. I-485, the inner loop, there's an accident there as you get closer to I-77. Exit 65. We'll have more on WCNC Plus.
Streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. Chris Mulcahy joins us now. We're talking about Panthers. It's an exciting day for fans. Today, the Panthers are going to hold the first practice of training camp.
This year, camp's going to be in Uptown, but fans aren't going to be able to go see anything because of construction there at the new practice facility. So joining us now is Sports Director Nick Carboni. So Nick, for years, it was a tradition that it was down at Wofford. Then you could, for the last year or two, maybe you could see some of it Uptown. Yeah. This year, there's not really a way for fans who made this a yearly tradition to take part.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, I think. And I think the players will feel that today, and we'll ask them about that today. They're so used to fans being there, making noise, maybe getting them out of the doldrums a little bit on a hot morning and inspiring them a little, just that little extra. But yes, the Panthers are building a new field house, which is where the practice bubble was, basically there on Cedar Street. And that's a couple-year project. They're not going to complete that, they say, until before the 2027 season. So this year and next training camp, the plan is to not have fans on a daily basis. Now, you will still get an opportunity to go to Fan Fest that Saturday, August 2nd at Bank of America Stadium. That is a yearly tradition that will still be happening, and fans will still be able to go to that. But, I think it's unfortunate fans aren't going to be able to go see. I mean, I remember being a kid myself in New England and going to Patriots training camp, and it was cool to see all the guys, and that really made me a fan. So we'll see if that relaxes at all next year after they see what it's like this year. I will give you a pro tip, though. If you go to the public greenway right there off of Cedar Street, where Clutch Bar is and a couple of other businesses, it is a public greenway. You'll be stopped from going all the way up to practice, obviously, but that is a place you can go get some autographs. And I think the players will be really excited to see people if they're there, especially if kids are there. I know it's summertime and there's no school. So there's still an opportunity to get yourself over there and get an autograph. It's not a guarantee. There's no dedicated autograph zone like there was at training camp last year when it was open to fans. But I don't know if the team wants me to say it at all, but it's a public greenway, so you can head on over with your jersey and hope to catch a glimpse and get an autograph too.
How about that?
All those kids listening now are like, "Mom, did you hear that? Did you hear that? We can go there and get an autograph."
I love it.
I love that. So earlier,
and you wanted just one more quick thing. You want to do it before practice. So practice is at 10. They'll be walking up. They may sign before practice, but then after practice about 90 minutes, 2 hours, about noon is when they start leaving, and you may be more apt to get an autograph at that point too.
By the way, Panthers management just called the newsroom, and I think they want to talk to you.
Correct. They're like, thanks.
I haven't picked up my credential yet, but we'll see if it's there.
We shall see. Earlier, we were talking about expectations, and Ben was outlining, there are the expectations from the fans. There are expectations from the super fans like Chris Mulcahy, and also from, national and media organizations and all the analysts. What do you think, though, for the players, their expectations might be? I guess we're thinking if they continue what we saw at the end of last season, building on that, this could be really good.
Yeah, I can tell you it's not a cliche that these players, no matter what their record is, no matter what their roster looks like, they go into every game collectively thinking we're going to win this game. I mean, think about it. They start preparation for a Sunday game on Monday. So by the time you get to Sunday, you've got your game plan. And you're like, our game plan, there's no way it's not going to work. There's no way every single play isn't going to go for a touchdown. Obviously, that's not what winds up happening, but their mentality is they're going to go out and win every game. They believe in themselves. That's how they got to this point in their careers in the National Football League. But I think we heard from Robert Hunt, who's a Pro Bowl guard yesterday for this team. He's a fantastic interview. We ran some of his sound last night at 11 o'clock, and we're hoping to interview him this week one-on-one. And Rob basically said, listen, we only won 5 games last year, but in some of those wins towards the end of the season, had some thrilling games like against Arizona. You could start to feel the city come alive for the Panthers a little bit. And we haven't been able to say that for such a long time. And he's right. I mean, you heard it in that crowd, a crowd that started last season with paper bags on their heads, literally, were starting to really sound like little whispers of what it was in 2015. Not close, but just a little taste. And he said he really, and the team really wants to give that back to the city and continue that this year.
And Nick, I think this could turn into one of the greatest sports stories of all time, since they benched Bryce Young and then he came back and all of a sudden he started to become the player that everyone thought that he could be. And that really shows that confidence is key. So I kind of want what you think is what the team's confidence and vibes, because they, at the end of the season, were having fun. Do you think that they still have that same mentality the way that they ended the season to start it this year?
Two key words you just mentioned there, Chris: confidence and fun. And those are the things that Bryce Young found at the end of last year. When he got benched after 2 weeks, I mean, I was in that locker room every week. And I can tell you, when a player, especially a quarterback and a leader on the team, you know, doesn't have that presence anymore. And he didn't, even in that locker room, especially on the field. He comes back, just a crazy set of circumstances with Andy Dalton getting in a minor car accident, and thankfully everybody was okay, except he did sprain his thumb. So Bryce comes back and he steadily progresses to where by the end of the season in Atlanta, he's making no-look touchdown passes, and he scored 18 total touchdowns over the last 9 games. So he found fun in football again. He found his confidence again. Those are things that can carry over. And what else came with that is head coach Dave Canales has told us multiple times, including this offseason when I asked him, said, because of the way Bryce is playing, I'm now able to do some of the things on offense. And he's a, play caller. I'm now able to do some of the things on offense with this team that we weren't able to do before. And then you think about Bryce Young's start in this league, and he had a coach that was fired 11 games into his rookie season. The play caller changed 3 separate times, counting the interim coach and then counting Dave Canales. By the time Bryce Young took training camp last year, he was on his 3rd head coach. He hadn't even played a down in his 2nd season. Wow. So that continuity is going to help that confidence a lot.
Definitely.
All right, Nick Carboni, thanks for joining us. Thanks for waking
Nick.
up. We appreciate it.
You got it. Of course.
All right, turning to your forecast.
I told you they're making the playoffs.
That's right.
You heard it here first.
Read between
from
the lines.
This guy.
Yeah, they're going to have a montage all the times that I say it. I'm going to say it enough. But I'm also going to say that it's super hot and it's going to get much more humid. And today it could be the 17th day in a row of 90 plus, y'all. Now, to a certain point, you're like, okay, July should be doing this, but it's an average. 90 and 91 is an average. So you usually get some 80s, but no, that hasn't been the case. We've actually had a boatload of the mid to the upper 90s. We've hit 98 degrees more than we have 91 and 92. And this officially, as of yesterday, is the 7th longest stretch of 90 plus days that we've had consecutively over the last 10 years. But we can take it actually a step further, because since we're at 16 today, this would be 17, 18, 19, 20. By Saturday, you're not avoiding the 90s at this point. I think that we're going to be well into the mid-20s. It's really just a suspect of if something goes wrong with our forecast over the next couple of days. If you get past Thursday and you hit 92, 93, it's game on. And yeah, we could be back to the lower 90s by August 1st, but this is a historic stretch, and I'll show it to you. 1993 is one of the hottest years on record, the hottest summer on record, the hottest July on record. And 1986 was the 2nd hottest July on record. They hit 31 days in a row of 90 plus, 33 days in 1993. Well, I think, again, as long as we get past the next couple of days, we could be right in this range, about number 4 for the longest stretch. Meanwhile, we're still making top 10 lists, actually top 3. So I mentioned 2 years just now, 1993, 1986. Well, 2025 is going to be with those big hitters. The only difference that we had from those years compared to this year is that 1986 has the record for the most consecutive days hitting 100 degrees. 1993, during that July, hit 105 times as well. So we need to hit 100 to try to match these. Well, we don't want to, but I'm saying that it is a possibility. Let's start with the pick of the week. Today is the coolest, and it is still odd saying cool when you're talking about the lower 90s, but it's also the driest. You have a really comfortable day as far as the moisture goes, but if you're in direct sunshine and the highs hit the lower 90s, you're going to be feeling it. It's not cool whatsoever. It's still going to be uncomfortable, but check out our highs down to 92 around Gastonia, over to Charlotte, 92 over in Concord, and then spiking to about 94 around around Chesterfield. Here's your extended forecast, taking a look at it. We're already under a weather alert for this coming weekend, and you will have heat advisories for Saturday and Sunday. That's a will, not an if, a will from the National Weather Service. It's just if you're going to extend it past that point. That means we could have a real feel up to about 105 plus during those days and beyond. And I have 99, 98 right now. Realistically, we could hit 100 degrees both days and beyond. So enjoy the quote, cool 92 while we have it before that 100-degree challenge begins for 4 to 5 days. Let's head over to Majestic to see what's going on for your morning commute.
Good morning, everyone. Another live look, an update on what's going on. Our crews are there on scene. This is live as construction workers are continuing to repair a water main break. You can see more have now showed up. 2 lanes are currently blocked, but as you can notice, cars are still able to go through both ways. It's just going to slow you down a couple of minutes. Just make sure you're taking it nice and easy. They've been working on this for hours now. We don't have a set time on when they're actually going to be finished. As we switch it over to my traffic maps, we can put this into perspective a little bit more, letting you know exactly where that is. It's been ongoing all morning long, and it's still right here. It's at Sharon Amity Road at Central Ave, where crews are continuing to fix a water main. We'll let you know when that is completely cleared, but as of now, if you want to avoid that area, your best alternate route is just to go around it and take Central Ave instead.
Majestic, thanks so much. This year, CMPD and the city of Charlotte really focused on solutions to reduce crime. Just last week, the department revealed a drop in overall crime.
But still, some neighbors say parts of the city just don't feel safe. Joining us this morning to talk about it is Mayor Pro Tem Dante Anderson. Mayor Pro Tem, thanks for joining us. I understand you were waiting for just a bit, and our apologies for that. Hope you can hear us now. If we can go over that first half of the year, the crime numbers came out last week, and I think to a lot of people, it painted, I'll say, a rosier picture than some people expected. Were you surprised by the numbers?
Well, good morning, Ben. And no, I was not surprised, but I was excited to see the numbers. So as you know, for the first half of 2025, violent crime was reduced by double digits, by 25%. And property crime was a reduction as well, around 5%. And so I wasn't surprised because I know that CMPD has been focused on a real data-driven strategic approach to reduce these numbers.
And Mayor Pro Tem, of course, you talk with your constituents. Do they feel like the numbers reflect their feelings? You know, you hear the numbers, the crime is down, but when you hear about a robbery or an assault or something in your neighborhood, do these reflect their feelings about crime in our city?
Well, perception is really reality, right? And so if you have a perception that crime is going on, and if one incident of crime or one gun violence act goes on, then to you personally, crime is up. Right. And so I think that's what we're experiencing, in particular with the incidents that occurred uptown about a week or so ago, where we had a shooting in the early AM morning. So what we've seen, though, however, as CMPD has really worked that case and they've made a few arrests here, what we have is our juvenile youth, our individuals who are 25 years and under, who are really participating in these crimes. And we have one gentleman who is 16 years old who has been charged with the murder. And so we do have, Charlotte is not unlike all the rest of the cities throughout the country. We are suffering with this epidemic of gun violence, in particular by our youth.
You mentioned Uptown. I want to talk about Uptown for a second because it is an economic driver for the entire region. I mean, all neighborhoods matter, but Uptown, there's a psychological effect that goes on if people don't feel safe there, and then that leads to economic, impacts if people don't feel safe going to Uptown. Walk us through sort of how, as a city, we address that.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right? Our uptown communities, all 4 wards, are really the picture of Charlotte. So when visitors come uptown, whether it's to enjoy a Broadway show or a sports event or to visit our museums, the streets, the character, the environment of uptown really reflects the personality and character of Charlotte. And so the city has done a couple of things. As I mentioned with addressing the juvenile crime, there's a JADE unit within CMPD that has been laser focused on ensuring that our juvenile individuals, especially the repeat offenders, that CMPD is increasing their touch points with them. So they're doing home visits to make sure that these individuals have accountability with their parents. They're checking in with them and they're having follow-up. So we're seeing some reduced numbers as it relates to that. But also for some of our partners, in particular Center City Partners, they have jump-started this program called Own Your Own Block. And so our business owners uptown have made a commitment for their personal security that they have at their individual businesses, that they would be more present right outside those businesses on the block, that they would adopt their individual blocks as it relates to litter and other things going on. And so as we do that incrementally, you're seeing a positive impact occur. So we're having Center City Partners, we have CMPD, and then we have our business owners uptown really come together to try to address this issue collectively.
And I think that's a very important part, as you mentioned. The city can do its part, the police department, the organizations, the nonprofits, but we all play a part in this. So what do you say to those about being more proactive in keeping not only uptown, but their neighborhood safe? Everybody has to be involved in this.
Absolutely. And I think as we think about just the environment that we're in right now, we know that anxieties are high. Everyone's on social media and they're hearing about various events and crime and everything going on. But we really got to go back to the basics of interacting with community. And good police work is interacting with the community and the community residents. And then the community residents and everyone who is a part of that community participating in ensuring that their community is a safe place, that people are talking and communicating and making sure that if something is going on, they're saying something. They're saying something to their neighbor about what's going on in front of their building or their residents. They're saying something to CMPD. They're saying something to those business owners. So we have to collectively begin to communicate, keep our eyes open on what's going on, and making sure that we're applying pressure to those individuals who are doing nefarious activities, whether it's uptown or in other parts of our city. That is the way that we have to address this collectively. We all have to play a part. No one can sit on the sidelines and Monday morning quarterback this thing. We all have to come together to be very active, proactive around this issue.
And some real talk just for a second. It's our job to cover these things, but don't let that necessarily skew your vision of the city. We have to cover crime when it happens and highlight it and highlight trends, but sometimes you can get a slightly skewed vision of how bad crime is or is not here in the city of Charlotte. Mayor Pro Tem Dante Anderson. Mayor, we appreciate it. I know the longtime Charlotteans and the East Siders are going to appreciate your shout out to Eastland Mall over your right shoulder. Very nice touch. We appreciate it. And again, apologies for any delays. Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Thank you. Happy to join.
Thanks so much. All right, we're going to take a live look now at the White House, where President Trump is brushing off questions about his ties to Jeffrey Epstein as his Justice Department pushes for an interview with Ghislaine Maxwell. As NBC's Alice Barr shows us, this comes as House tensions are boiling over.
President Trump meeting overnight with Republican members of Congress, announcing a long-awaited trade deal with Japan that sets 15% tariffs on Japanese imports.
We worked on it long and hard, and it's a great deal for everybody.
And thanking GOP lawmakers for their support.
You're really allies, that's what you've been.
Just as the House is shutting down early for its summer break, delaying votes demanded by Democrats and some Republicans, calling for the release of the full files on sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
We are not going to let them use this as a political battering ram.
Members of President Trump's MAGA base have been leading the calls for transparency. And now the Deputy Attorney General says he plans to meet with convicted Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell, posting that, quote, President Trump has told us to release all credible evidence. If Ghislaine Maxwell has information about anyone who committed crimes against victims, the FBI and the DOJ will hear what she has to say. The president backing the move.
I don't know about it, but I think it's something that sounds appropriate to do.
While trying to step back from the controversy.
It's sort of a witch hunt, just a continuation of the witch hunt.
The House Oversight Committee also voting to subpoena Maxwell's testimony, as Republican Thomas Massie suggested that not releasing the Epstein files could weaken the president's support.
He's eroding his base. More importantly, if we don't take the right side of this issue, it's going to cost us votes in the midterms.
Members of both parties insisting the issue is not going away. Ghislaine Maxwell is appealing her 20-year prison sentence, and her lawyer confirmed discussions with the Justice Department, thanking President Trump for committing to uncovering the truth. On his request for grand jury testimony to be unsealed, 2 federal judges said yesterday they need more information before ruling. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Thanks a lot, Alice. Let's move on with our forecast. It's been hot, and now it's about to be hotter after today. And yesterday we only hit 90 degrees, so that's technically the coolest high that we've had in over a week. Well, 92 today, and it feels better. It's also a lot less of that mugginess in the air. This is actually the best feeling day, the least humid one. Storm chances return by tomorrow, but barely, just really an isolated variety. But the big story is the purple popsicle stick right there. We're turning up the heat, where more heat advisories are on the way. So really a crazy stretch of weather is heading our direction. 92 today, and we're feeling like 90 by 3 p.m. So we barely have a heat index. Check this out. 89 could feel like 91, where it starts to feel a little bit muggier by the end of the day. But we do have a nice little sweet spot where it only feels at most sticky to no problem range later on this afternoon. Then it's uncomfortable again, and then it's muggy, the usual humid to muggy air after today. As far as how we feel, it's all a derivative of the relative humidity or dew point and temperature that is going to indicate about how hot we feel, or the heat index. I think we start to feel like the triple digits once again on Friday, close to tomorrow, but then Saturday and Sunday where weather looks you can feel as much as 106. The maximums that we've had so far this season in Charlotte is 110 and a bunch of 106s. We haven't gotten past that mark, but there's even a chance that some of us here in the Carolinas could potentially have a extreme heat warning, and that is really indicated here for your Sunday and Monday. Check this out. We haven't gone weather alert for Monday yet, but we're really kind of just trying to factor in exactly what's going on. But whenever you see that deep purple starting to take over more of the Carolinas, yeah, we're going to be challenging even up to 100 to 108 by the time this is all said and done. For right now, I have a high of 99 on Saturday, 98 on Sunday. I was very close to putting triple digits here. I think that we have a good shot at hitting 100 degrees at least Saturday, Sunday, and or Monday during that stretch. And if we hit 100 degrees, it almost gets turned on like a machine where you can do it multiple times. The last time that we had consecutive days hitting 100 degrees was back in June of 2015. The last time that we even had multiple hundreds in a given year was 2015. So it's been a while since we've been around that range. So regardless, it's going to be hot, near 100, feeling like 105, more heat indices of that range, about 105 to 110, with isolated storm chances after that. Here's a quick look at our 7-day forecast. You see that heat surging. At least we're getting into the upper 90s. It's going to be really a crazy batch of temperatures on the way, so stay as cool as possible, everybody. But in the meantime, let's head over to Majestic to see exactly what's going on for your morning commute.
All right, good morning, everyone. We'll give you another update on what's going on. Again, this is a live look. Our crews are here on scene as construction workers are continuing to fix a water break. You can see they are repairing it. 2 lanes are currently blocked, but as you can see, cars are still able to get right around it, so it's not significantly impacting your morning commute, but might slow you down a couple of minutes. Just make sure you're driving nice and safely. Let's switch it over to my live traffic map because I want to show you exactly where this is. It's on Sharon Amity Road at Central Ave, where crews have been there for quite some time, hours at this point. So if you don't want to be in that backup, your best alternate route will be right here just to take Central Ave. Another big thing that I'm following right now is this. It's an active crash. I'm going to show you a picture that we just got of it. It's going to impact you definitely definitely, if you are heading out the door, Mount Holly Hunterville's Road, this is where it's at, where emergency responders are there on scene. It's going to impact areas in all directions at all lanes there. That's our picture. And again, this is exactly where it is as we zoom it on in. You're going to want to allow for several additional minutes as you're heading out the door. It's at Mount Holly Hunterville's Road and Brookshire Boulevard. We'll have more on this coming up.
All right, Majestic, thanks so much. We're going to take a quick break, but make sure you keep it right here on WCNC Plus. We're going to have another update on weather and traffic, including that water main break that they're working on. Majestic just showed us that, and we'll have more of the day's top headlines at 8:30.
We got sunshine, and it is a beautiful day today. Today's actually, and you probably already heard me, pick of the week. This is the best one by far. And I'm going to keep on pounding on this drum just because after today, it gets more muggy. It doesn't feel this comfortable. And we're talking about high temperatures near 100 degrees and a real feel of over 105 from day to day. So 90, 91, feeling like 92. Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that for this time of the year. And that break is very short-lived because we're back to that uncomfortable air by your Thursday, and then that muggy air, the one that surrounds you and doesn't create the best hair days, is going to be on Friday and Saturday, and that's also going to return a chance for an isolated storm. But oftentimes when it's this hot, it doesn't always come to fruition. But we do have a better chance for more widespread rain, even some flooding rains by the end of the weekend. That's why I have 98 compared to 99. But there is a good chance that some of us in the greater Charlotte area will touch on that 100-degree point for the second time this year. Regardless, we're 98 to 99 Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, so heat advisory is likely for those days. Let's move on to Majestic for your morning commute.
Good morning, everyone. A live look outside. Want to take you there. Our crews are there on scene as construction workers are still trying to fix that water main break. It is slowing your morning commute down just a bit. Noticing, though, that cars are still moving. They're able to get around it. This is not a situation where it's blocked. Want to show you my map here, showing you exactly where it's at. It's on Sharon Amity Road, right here where it intersects at Central Ave. We'll have more coming up on WCNC Plus. We'll see you then.
Good morning. Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Frustration boiling over for folks in Kings Mountain this morning as they demand action over their drinking water.
WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards is live this morning with details on the community meeting that was held last night and the message this morning to those in charge.
Yeah, people here in Kings Mountain are saying that this water just is not safe for them to drink. Some of them will not drink it. Other families are saying that they won't even cook with it. So now they're demanding the city have answers. They're demanding not just apologies, but accountability and also a plan to fix this problem. So this frustration is just continuing to build in Kings Mountain as residents demand answers about the city's water supply. We know families and business owners say the water has been discolored, smelly, and in some cases make people sick. One restaurant now gives customers bottled water after staff reported stomach cramps and nausea they believe are connected to the tap water. Others say conditions have improved somewhat, but the problem isn't fixed, and many no longer trust what's coming out of their faucets. At a packed city council meeting, neighbors called for transparency and relief.
We are asking for waived water utility bills until the water quality is fully restored. And we're asking for reimbursement for bottled water and at-home water filtration system.
The city needs help. And if we sit up here acting like it's in good shape, we're not doing you a service.
So far, city leaders have just acknowledged these issues, but have not talked about any reimbursements like the city residents were asking for. And they also have not talked about any long-term fixes to this problem. But residents here say they'll keep on showing up, they'll keep speaking up until they see a real change. Ben, Lisa.
And just to reemphasize here, the city is maintaining that this water, while it's not perfect, is perfectly healthy.
They said that this stemmed from an issue of just certain factors related to Moss Lake. And they said they did take some immediate steps. Some of those are added additional carbon treatment to reduce the organics in the lake. They activated a fourth treatment basin to increase water retention time, suspended dredging at Moss Lake, and initiated targeted flushing to replace affected water with freshly treated water. So these are just, complaints that are coming from the people in the city. Obviously, they showed up to city council still upset, saying that the water is not acceptable for them. And we did speak just about half an hour ago to the city spokesperson here in Kings Mountain. He said today he's going to the city manager to see if there will be a statement that comes out later today about the next steps in this plan. Obviously, the city trying to do immediate work on this. This was from our reports last week about this problem. But of course, a long-term solution is still needed. So hopefully we get some answers from the city of Kings Mountain today.
All right. Destiny Richards reporting live for us there. Destiny, thank you.
8:33 now. Let's check back in with Christian Warren, our forecast for today. What we're calling days of reprieve, not as hot, but still in the 90s.
Yeah, when you still have a high of 92 with sunshine, it's not going to be cool by any stretch of the imagination, but it's really nice when it's hot and you don't have that mugginess. That's what really makes it feel uncomfortable. So trust me, there is going to be a difference, but we're going to hit a nice little sweet spot as we're working our way into the day. And how we feel is going to be actually a short-lived break before we're right back to as July does. And then we're actually going to be closer to a record than our actual average high of 90 degrees here by the weekend. So here's today, my pick of the week, as I'm calling it, the best day. Now, of course, everyone has their preferences, but I'm mainly judging this because, one, it's the only chance that only day that we have no rain chances, and number two, it's also the driest feeling day. It's the only one that I can actually say it's absolutely humid and or muggy. So our how you feel cast is right back to that uncomfortable range, really as early as later on this evening and overnight tonight. And then for your Friday and your Saturday, we are anticipating that muggy air is going to roll back into frame. So looking ahead for a 7-day forecast, forecast, it really is interesting to see how quickly those temperatures crank back up. And then once we hit 99, again, I said there's a chance that we might actually hit around 100 degrees anywhere from Saturday through next Tuesday. So 97 to 99 is where I'm at right now. I might even uptick these a little bit more. This is the type of environment that sometimes heat will actually feed heat, where it can get hotter and hotter. And this is also going to be one of the hottest weekends that we've had so far this year. Actually, the hottest. It's been back-to-back weekends that we have been outdoing the previous one. So July 12th and the 13th, we hit 95 and 97. Last weekend, we were 96 and 98. Now, each day had a slight rain, a trace of rain on the July 19th, and then we also had less than 1/10 of an inch on July 13th. But for Saturday and Sunday, this coming stretch, 99, 98, with some of us hitting 100 degrees. So just really keep that in mind, that this is going to be the hottest weekend. Stay cool, everybody, because I think that real feel is going to be close to about that 106 range, and there's a better chance for thunderstorms by the back end of it. So a closer look at how we feel. Our heat index this week, 94 to 98. It's the next couple, really not too bad. We start flirting with that 100-degree range once you get to about your Friday, and then 106 and beyond looking forwards. And it's only going to add on to an already very hot July. We've averaged 84 degrees. It's been the second warmest set of lows, and not quite near the top 5 as far as our high temperatures go, but still, this is not going anywhere. We're not going to fall. We're actually only going to get closer and closer to 1986, and both of these years actually had 5 100-degree days during the month of July. So yeah, this is going to be quite the stretch, everybody. Stay cool. So it's already been hot, I know, obviously, but this is going to be actually our hottest stretch we've had so far, and officially it'll be day 17 through likely 25 of 90 degrees plus. Stay cool. Let's head over to Majestic with your traffic report.
Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Want to give you another live look of what's going on here. It's a water break that has been being repaired by numerous construction workers who are there on scene. 2 lanes are currently blocked because of this. You can notice, though, that traffic is still able to move right past it. Just drive with caution. Be careful as they continue to work on this repair. I want to show you exactly where this is as we change it over to my map. You can see there's a lot still going on. It's going to be east of Charlotte. You can see it here. Water main repairs. They don't have an exact time on when it's going to be completely done, but it's on Sharon Amity Road at Central Ave. Seeing that back up here, that orange is just indicating that traffic is just moving slow, so that makes sense. If you want to get around it, just try to take Central Ave instead. And then another ongoing accident that we're continuing to follow here. It's out towards Mount Holly. It's on Mount Holly Huntersville Road at Brookshire Boulevard. Here's an actual picture of what's going on. We know from medics that at least one person does have some minor injuries and was sent to the hospital here, but this is impacting all lanes. You can see that fire truck there, and again, police officers are there on scene. This is an active crash. I'll continue to keep you up to date here, and I'll let you know when it is clear.
Majestic, thanks. 8:37 right now here on WCNC Plus. And drivers in downtown Concord could soon see some major delays. A road project now underway on Union Street South, part of the city's annual street preservation plan. It's going to reduce traffic to just 1 lane for the next 6 months. So we're talking some time here. Some neighbors say they're happy to see the improvements, but others worry it could cause some problems for downtown businesses.
I definitely hope it doesn't take that long. You know, everybody was kind of twisted up about how long it took them to do the construction in downtown. That was kind of a big issue for a lot of people in Concord. A lot of businesses, you know, didn't make it, unfortunately, and I know a lot of people were upset about that.
City leaders say this project is separate from last year's controversial streetscape overhaul, but the traffic and parking headaches could feel quite similar. You can find a list of those impacted streets right now inside the WCNC Charlotte mobile app.
Many of you have probably let your kids spend the day at Carowinds, but there are some serious concerns about safety this morning after a teenager says they were sexually assaulted in the parking lot. WCNC Charlotte's Siobhan Riley spoke with parents who are demanding answers.
Especially at a place that's like advertised to families, this pisses me off, honestly. Like, it makes me very angry to know that like something like that could happen.
Visitors who just left Carowinds say they're still trying to understand what led to the reported sexual assault that happened Sunday evening at the park.
A lot of younger siblings, so It is concerning to hear because, you know, like my siblings are there. I want to take care of them, protect them.
The details remain limited, but parents leaving the park Tuesday told us they noticed more visible security.
Having the police officers out there today, I saw a couple of our uniform officers had their general presence there. I think it's a good deterrent.
Randall Stywalt takes her godchildren to Carowinds. She's demanding transparency from the park on how they're working to protect children.
I would like to see a statement put out, maybe some changes, update the policy, make people more security more visible so that people are aware and feel safe.
And CMPD continues to investigate. We pressed Carowinds for answers to find out what it is doing to address safety. It released a statement saying Carowinds is committed to providing a safe environment for our guests and associates. We work in close partnership with the local law enforcement agencies to maintain a secure presence inside and outside the park. Siobhan Riley, WCNC Charlotte.
Today, the world is remembering heavy metal icon Ozzy Osbourne. The man known as the Prince of Darkness died yesterday at the age of 76. Just weeks ago, he played a farewell show in England. Osbourne spent 5 decades in the spotlight. He first rose to fame as the frontman for Black Sabbath before going on to a successful solo music career. And then later, he became a reality TV star on the MTV show that followed his family life. Now, as he got older, Osbourne became more open about his health struggles, including Parkinson's disease, but that didn't keep him from making music. Ozzy's influence also faced its share of criticism. He was accused of being a negative influence on teens and worshiping Satan, an allegation that he consistently rejected.
Of course, his career filled with many accomplishments and highlights. We like to think very top of that list is a period beside our very own Larry Sprinkle. Check this out. Footage from the 1986 horror film Trick or Treat. Ozzy plays a reverend who criticizes rock and roll. Larry, a talk show host, asking him tough questions. Check it out.
We have some pretty ribald stuff here. Those rockers really have a strange sense of humor, don't they?
I don't even think it's a sense of humor. I think they're just out and out sick people. I mean, and they're trying to make everyone else around them who listens to their music as sick as they are.
Reverend, let me ask you a question.
There you go. That's how you do it, folks.
The star himself joins us now.
The way he answered that,
yes.
He's talking about himself.
Yeah.
Sure. Right.
It's interesting. We had a lot of props albums, and one or two we picked up, but all of the albums on the desk in the talk show set were Ozzy or Black Sabbath albums.
Oh, really?
And, he's talking about how they just were such a bad influence on people. He really was a good guy to work with.
Right.
He was very nervous about doing this. And I remember the director, Charles Martin Smith, said, Larry, what we want to do is just you go into the studio, and we shot this at the NBC affiliate in Wilmington, and just start talking to him and just let that evolve into the questions. So we spent probably 2 hours just talking. He was very nervous.
2 hours?
Yeah. Till we got to the scenes that they were used in the film.
Right.
He was very nervous, and then he was great in his performance right there.
So when you weren't having that conversation, what was he like, when you weren't recording?
I spent probably on and off about 3 days with him. He was on tour in Wilmington, across the United States. He was a really down-to-earth, nice guy. And at that time, 1986, he was in between interludes of maybe being affected by certain
substances.
Substances, yes.
Okay.
He was totally straight. And I was open with him. I said, I want to ask you some questions. Go ahead, it's all right. I said, first of all, this thing about that bat. Now remember, this is back in 1986. Not many people knew too much about it. He says it was a pure accident. Someone threw it on stage. I bit its head, and then I realized it was real. But then he said he started using rubber bats in the shows afterwards, and people thought he did it in every show.
Because he thought the first one was actually a rubber bat.
He thought it was just a toy or something. He grabbed it, did it, and maybe he felt no pain at the time.
I remember at the time being a young kid, and it was petrified. My brothers loved him, and I was scared to death after
he was menacing.
That story.
His stage act was menacing.
It was. I think until you saw him later in the reality show that you realized, oh, he's a normal guy.
He was a family guy. Loved his family very much, and the movie was shot in Wilmington, which has a big movie studio down there, and they probably shot 40 or 50 films in Wilmington. That was one of many that was shot not there. Gene Simmons from Kiss was another cast member of that. By the way, that movie, Trick or Treat, has become what they call a cult classic among people who are aficionados of horror movies, and it's called a bloodless horror movie. And there's not one drop of blood in it. There's a lot of horror. People are eliminated by being scraped off of a screen. It's like they appear on the screen and they just move their hand across. It's a long, involved plot that I have no time to go into. But it was re-released on Blu-ray last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, and they had this, they couldn't find too many people who were in the film, so they interviewed me for the Blu-ray. The other actors are spread out. Maybe some aren't even around anymore. I was such a minor character.
So
in
if
that.
people want to see it, they can find it on Blu-ray.
On Blu-ray.
Yeah, and it's, it's out there. Trick or Treat, starring Ozzy and Larry.
Add that to your Halloween. You got Hocus Pocus, and then you've got Trick or Treat.
Well, do you know what? Speaking of that, years ago on the Halloween show we did,
yes,
I used to do a character called Ozzy, which was modeled after the Ozzy that we saw in
Trick or Treat.
Not in Trick or Treat, but later on when he was doing the reality show. That Ozzy.
You do a Halloween show?
Oh, well, on occasion.
Oh,
yeah, just rare occasions over the past 25 years. Okay.
Oh boy, yeah. October's coming. Larry, thank you so much. Always great to have Larry with us. All right, and Animal Rescue is back to helping dogs in need now that more than $8,000 in donations are finally back in its bank account.
The nonprofit spent more than 2 months questioning PayPal about the missing donations, but they couldn't get any results. Well, we're happy to say that quickly changed when WCNC Charlotte's Nate Morabito started asking, where's the money?
Meg Mark's heart for rescues extends well beyond her backyard. In January, the rescue that forever connected her with Milo asked for donations to help cover another dog's vet bill, so she sent money.
I just assumed my money was going right to them for parvo intervention.
Only recently, almost 6 months after donating, Marks learned her money never made it to Daisy Bean Rescue. Where'd your money go?
That's a great question.
That $20 is among more than $8,000 raised through social media campaigns and collected by PayPal that failed to make it to the nonprofit, an organization that supports and fosters rescue dogs across the Carolinas, often saving their lives.
It's very frustrating. And at the end of the day, our dogs are left suffering.
Rachel Leeser is founder and president of Daisy Bean Rescue, which is solely funded by donations.
We're on a complete pause. We can't do anything right now.
Leeser says she spent months pestering PayPal to try and get some kind of resolution, with no luck.
It gets escalated every time.
In the meantime, PayPal emailed donors, telling them the company couldn't deliver the money and urged them to consider another charity instead.
It's really discouraging, yeah.
That's when Marks reached out to WCNC Charlotte on her friend's behalf.
I don't know what to do at this point.
Knowing, for once, the nonprofit was the one that needed rescuing.
They deserve all the support that they can get.
While her dog sniffed us out, we emailed PayPal, and within minutes, the company promised to look into this. By the end of the day, a relieved Leeser texted me this, saying a PayPal representative called her, apologized, and started working to get the money to Daisy Bean Rescue.
Can I please give you a hug? Thank you so much. I literally have been crying all the past 24 hours. Yes. I'm beside myself. I literally can't thank you enough.
Leeser learned the company did try and deliver the donations months ago. But instead of depositing the money into her PayPal Giving Fund account, mailed checks to the address listed on her account, a home she moved out of in December.
I hung up the phone with her and started crying. My husband came in the room and was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "We're getting the money. I can't believe they found it."
The company told her it would resolve the misunderstanding by the end of July. Just days later, the money arrived.
It's huge.
Leeser can't stop thinking about all the ways those donations will soon help so many dogs. In fact, it's already allowed her.
We already were able to take in another dog this morning.
To start saying yes again to rescues. Nate Morabito, WCNC Charlotte.
While PayPal says its team swiftly resolved the matter, the company declined to share what, if any, safeguards it's putting in place to make sure that something like this does not happen again.
You've already heard my forecast. Today is my favorite day because it is the driest feeling day and it's much cooler than 99. But now let's get to some hot stats. So far this year, we've hit 90 plus 36 times. So we're outpacing last year by 8 days. Still a long ways to go if we want to beat the most ever, and that was back in 1954. But I went through each category and showed what range we've hit the most, or what number. We've hit now officially, as of yesterday, 90 degrees for the 8th time. And what's really interesting is 98 has been hit 6 times, just one hand coming in here. So crazy range. And then it was earlier this week that we hit 99 for the first time. I think we're going to be back there. What about 100 degrees? Well, we did it once in June, and that was the day that we actually had a 110 degree heat index. And crazy to think, I would not be surprised if we will hit 100 degrees at some point over the coming days. Even though I don't have it on my 10-day forecast or 7-day forecast as of yet, it's still a good possibility. Now, back in 2015, we hit 105 times, 3 days in a row, actually, in June, and all 5 of those were during the month of June. So really, since 2000, we've only hit 100 degrees 24 times. Yesterday, we barely hit that 90-degree point. That was the 16th day in a row. Another interesting stat, as long as something weird doesn't happen, I think you're going to hit the lower 90s today and tomorrow, but as long as that happens, you're talking about a top 10 longest stretch in Charlotte history. Now, it's going to take a lot to get to 33, 32, and 31 days, but by the end of that 10-day stretch I just showed you, this could be the 4th longest 90-plus consecutive stretch that we've had in Charlotte history, dating back to 1879. As long as we have this upper-level pattern, this is the definition of a heat dome, that's going to keep things nice and hot, and it's also going to limit some of our rain chances in the near term as well. So yeah, you have a chance for an isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm, but nothing really too crazy. As for our weather alert days, I did expand it into Monday because I have a high of 98 degrees that day. I think each and every one of those red bars could feel like 105 to 108. Stay cool, everybody, and enjoy today while we have a brief break before it ramps back up. Let's see if traffic is ramping up or ramping down. I don't know. Majestic does, though.
All right, good morning, everyone. Well, I'd say we're making some progress. Let's start again with this live video coming in from our crews who are there on scene. This is a video of construction workers who are continuing to repair a water break that has backed traffic up a little bit. You can still see cars are able to get around it, but at this point, they're moving much slower than they were just about 10 to 15 minutes ago. So make sure if you do drive this way, you're able to allow for a little extra drive time. Let me show you exactly where this is as we show it on my map here. It's on Sharon Amity Road. You can see 2 lanes are blocked with this, but again, there is at least 1 lane in each direction that you can go through. Sharon Amity and Central Ave, crews have been working on this for hours now, and we don't have a time specifically as to when it will be completely done with. If you want to just avoid that, you can always just go around it, take Central Ave. Seems like it's mainly in the green at this point. There's a crash here on Providence Road and Sharon Lane. Make sure you're being mindful of that. There is some orange there, meaning that there are currently some medium impacts there. And then another one here, it's on Park Road and Bierman Drive. We'll have more coming up here in just a bit. Ben.
All right, Majestic, thanks. 8:52 right now. An election is heating up in Somerville, Massachusetts. It's got a lot of personality and even been a scandal, but just no actual people. Brianna Borgi tells us about the race and why it's turning into a real cat fight.
It's dirty politics. It's dirty politics.
A catty mayoral race is brewing in Somerville. Literally.
It's a very hot race, a lot of contenders.
These feisty felines are campaigning for the imaginary office of Bike Path Mayor, but it seems one candidate has a very real enemy.
So again, the original race, and we have photo evidence all over the Somerville Discord, was Orange Cat versus Barry, who's the incumbent. I see Barry all the time. I see Orange Cat almost as much. And then other candidates started coming in, and then Barry's sign was stolen.
But now Barry is back with her promise to make cats outside again. Owner Mallory Bissett telling us how this whole thing started.
We wanted to make sure that people knew that she had owners and that she was well taken care of and loved and that she wasn't just a random cat roaming around. And we wanted other people in the community to come out and make signs for their pets.
It's become a competitive and creative field. Freya is running as a member of the Communist Party. Orange Cat is with the Catalyst Party, and Claudius is representing the Indoor Cat Party.
I think there's a lot of humor in it, but there's also a lot of straightforward communication, and I think it's simply meowvelous.
A dog duo has also put their paw in the fight.
You know, the more diversity we have in the political race, I think that's good for everyone.
And more candidates could try to claw their way to the top.
I have a cat, actually I have 2 cats, and I was thinking of how do I get a sign up for my cats?
Unsurprisingly, voters have questions.
And I want to know, like Minerva the cat, what is her stake on crime? Is she for crime? Is she against it?
What?
I can't believe this is real.
I mean, I know it's done somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but wow.
Man.
Meanwhile, Claudius is a good-looking cat, if I can say something.
But I think I like Orange Cat because it's just kind of like simple, like, vote Orange Cat.
Yeah, we have one at home, and I've learned that they have interesting personalities. Orange cats, specifically.
Like spunky, or what's the problem?
Yeah, just sort of have their own like
attitude times 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had an orange cat named Fred, and
Did you?
Spot on?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Huh.
But sweet, very sweet.
And great mares.
Yeah, there you go.
We shall see.
All right, live pictures right now from inside our Live Impacts streaming center. Jen Monero, down your bottom left, she is standing by with all the news you need to know, breaking news from around the world as well. That's coming your way at the top of the hour, right here on WCNC Plus.
Who's ready? Today is going to be amazing. Right now it's 79 degrees, but it only feels like 80. Oh, that's nice. A dew point around 60. That's barely sticky. We're going to stay around that range for much of the morning into the afternoon. So that means we barely have a heat index. High temperatures barely getting into the lower 90s. So it's a really nice stretch of weather for at least today. Tomorrow, not too bad. Tomorrow starts to feel a little bit more on the humid side, back to the muggy status by Friday. But look where we're going. Got some red bars representing that those days are likely going to be under a heat advisory. 99, 98, 98. Those are the actual air temperatures. If you factor in the muggy air, it actually could feel as much as 105 plus. Majestic, what's going on?
All right, good morning, everyone. This is a live camera shot. Still, our crews are here on scene as construction workers are continuing to fix a water main that has broken. They're repairing it this morning. It is now blocking 2 lanes. Let me show you on my live traffic map where exactly it's at. It's at Sharon Amity Road and Central Ave, seeing some of those minor impacts. No set time on when it's all going to be cleared, but you can take our alternate route, just Central Ave. That'll help to get you around it. Hope you have a great day.